Hello to anyone who may be watching this video. My name is Tylen, better known as Chowder, your favorite swashpreneur. And today I wanted to talk about automations, which is very important for any business owner using software or a technology platform, marketing agency, whatever the case may be, right? Um, and I want to talk about something that's very important, which is a webhook, which I know is very misunderstood, confusing. And I wanted to create this video to showcase an example of why webhooks are very important and powerful. Now, just trying to, explain this at a very basic level. Sometimes you are using two platforms that need to talk to each other. They need to send information back and forth. They may need to check information, and whatever the case may be. And I want to demonstrate that here. And the way to do that is with a webhook. And what a webhook is a URL. So think of like if you went to GoDaddy and you bought a domain name, your domain name is a URL. And this URL sends and receives data. And you can send and receive data to any platform. You can automate that, and then it can do multiple things. So what I'm going to do is showcase my platform, Leadsy, which is a lead generation platform. And I'm going to use that to send information to another platform called AI Table, which kind of acts like a CRM. Now, I'm not going to get into the specifics of why I'm doing this. I'm just going to showcase me using a webhook to showcase this. And one thing I want to explain that's very important is that almost every platform has the ability to send webhooks. Almost every platform. It's kind of like a standard now. If you are using a platform that doesn't have the ability to send webhooks, I'm not saying that you should switch, but because there are still other ways to send data. But yeah, you definitely want to make sure that that platform has a webhook. And all you have to do is go to the documents or type in the name of that platform and type in webhooks and it will pop up. So I'm going to showcase this. So once again, I'm going to be using a platform called Leadsy, which is my platform. It is a lead generation prospecting with a sprinkle of artificial intelligence. And then I'm going to be using another platform called AI Table, which is basically a platform that, think of it like spreadsheets with artificial intelligence. I'm just going to leave it at that. Make is the platform we're going to be using to automate this. You can do this on any other platform such as Zapier or Pabbly, whatever the case may be. I'm just using Make. I prefer Make, and it's visually appeasing. So what I'm going to do is sign into Make. Also, what I'm going to do is sign into Leadsy. And I need to sign into AI Tip. Now, hopefully this video doesn't take too long. I'm going to do this not as fast as I can, but I'm going to walk through all these steps, but I'm going to showcase this. So in this case, like I said, AI Table is just basically spreadsheets, and I want to send data right into here to do that. Now, Leadsy, what Leadsy is basically lead generation. These are businesses that I want to contact, and I want to send that information over. Now, inside of Leadsy, I actually can just, generate a spreadsheet, and I can actually come in here into AI Table, and I can actually just import that spreadsheet, and that spreadsheet will be there. Now, even though that's very fast, that still is a manual task, and I want to automate that. I want to do that with the click of a button. I don't even have to want to come inside of AI Table to do that. And we're going to use a webhook to do that process. So I'm going to delete that spreadsheet there. What I'm going to do is, and I'm going to use this same thing that I just imported. So what I have to do inside of Leedsy is I have to come to integrations, come to custom integrations, and I'm going to name this Webhook demo because I'm showing a demonstration. And there are a couple type of methods for a webhook. I'm not going to focus on that right now. It's sending a post method, which is sending data. And then we need a URL, right? Because remember I said a webhook, it needs a URL, right? Well, it is a URL. So I'm going to come back here into make, and I'm actually, right, we need to trigger this automation because we're automating this, right? So I'm going to look for not a web cook, but a web hook. Right, and I'm going to look for a custom webhook. Triggers when webhook receives data. Right, so what I'm going to do is name this webhook demo. I'm going to save it. And now that I've created this webhook, here's the URL. It's listening for the data. Right, so now what I have to do actually, and I'm going to fast forward this process actually. I'm going to come back here in the Leedsy. I'm going to leave this tab actually. And I'm just going to highlight 4 of these. I'm going to create a spreadsheet. I'm going to come back here into AI table. I'm going to import that spreadsheet. And I'm going to delete these rows because I don't want the rows there, but I want this here, right? This is the information that's going to pull, right? That's going to send over. How do I know? Well, because I just made a spreadsheet and all I did was delete that because I didn't want to make and add all these rows and add them one by one, right? So I hope that makes sense there, right? Here's this data here that we can see. Let me refresh this page. Right, here's all that data that we can see here, which is, once again, all the data that's up here. So I'm going to come back here. I need to do this, so we're going to name this again, Webhook demo. Post, need to grab the URL that make gave us. I'm going to put this in here. Now, sometimes for a webhook, it needs an authorization. Leedsy doesn't need an authorization. And then there's a header where you map the data that you want to send, or it has a query parameter. Now, the way Leedsy is built, I'm going to pick a query parameter because it's the same thing as a header. It just doesn't have the values here. What is a value? A value is the information that we need. So a lead, the company's name, right? So I need to name this. So I'm going to name this company name. I need to map the data, right? So whenever you're doing any automation, you need to map the data, right? So remember, we're using Leedsy to send this data, and I need to map this data so it sends correctly, so it goes inside of here. Now, in any platform, this process is the same. I'm just using, in this video, I'm using these platforms that I mentioned here. So just as a test, I'm going to just only do the company name. I'm going to save this. And what I'm actually going to do is do a test. I'm going to send a test data to this webhook that's listening to the data. And the whole point of a webhook listening or waiting for the data is, once again, to know how to structure it because we mapped it. So I'm going to send this. The test was sent successful. There was a successful response. And if I come here, I can see that the success here, and it's not spinning anymore. Now, if I press OK, and I just run this, so now this is like an actual automation. This is live. Let's pretend that I built this automation and it was only a webhook that was waiting for data to come in. I can come back here to Leedsy send a test, come back here, and this webhook has now received the data, right? What is the data? FAN brands. That is the test data that's being sent here. Now, of course, we're going to add more data, but just want to take this step by step. So now in order to automate this, right, Leadsy or whatever platform you're using, it could be Typeform, it could be ClickFunnels, it could be when a payment is received in Stripe or your WordPress store or PayHip, whatever it is, right? We're going to use a webhook to send that data. And remember the platform that I said that I was going to be sending that data to is AI table. I'm going to click AI table here, and then it's going to give me a couple options. I can create a record, update a record, get a record. I'm going to create a record here. Right now, my account is already connected here. It's going to ask me, a space. What space am I looking for? And now I'm going to look for that spreadsheet, which the name is generated 8. I can see it here. The view is a grid view. And now it's looking for, right, all this information. Here are all the fields where I can map that data, right? These are the same fields that are here, right? So I can come back into Make. And right now only did one thing, only did the business name. Now, because this webhook received the data, when I click into business name, I can just map that data here, right? So let's go back a little bit. Leadsy, I added a webhook from Make into Leadsy because I want to send the data from Leadsy to AI table. And how am I doing that? I'm doing that with a webhook. So Leadsy is going to send that data to the webhook. The webhook is going to send that into AI table, and it's going to update inside of here. Now I'm going to press OK, and I'm going to run this automation again. I'm going to come into Leadsy. I'm going to press Send API. It's successful. I'm going to come here. The webhook received the data. It went into AI table. I can actually go into AI table now and look at that. FAN brands is here. I've automated that process now. Well, I'm setting up the structure to automate that process now. Right now, what I can do just to kind of show that this works without the test data is I can come back here into demo. I have to configure this inside of Leadsy webhook demo. Come back here. Let's say, for instance, I click this and I want to send this information to my CRM. Success. You know what? This automation is actually not on. Yeah, actually it was. So it wasn't on, but because it still received data, it's waiting in the queue. All right, so what I'm going to do is come back. Oh, sorry, guys. What I'm going to do is turn this on. I'm going to process the old data. And that information just came in, Redfin, right? So let's do this again, but we're going to add more data. So I have to come back here to integrations. I need to edit this here, and I want to add more fields. So I'm just going to press this. This is the company phone, right? So I need to name this here, company phone. What else? This is the company website. Let's add two more. This is the company rating. And then this is the company state. So now we're going to send all of this information. There's more information, but right, I'm just going to, put a state that there. And then I spelled state wrong as well. So I'm going to save this now. And what I can actually do is come back to this automation. I'm going to edit it. I'm going to click on AI table. And actually, what I'm actually going to do is delete this. I'm going to run this automation again because I need to restructure this webhook. Now, you don't need to delete the module, but because this is only a two-step automation, I just deleted it. I'm going to do another test because I want to send this data. The webhook has received the data again. Right now, more information is here. I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm going to connect it back to AI table. I'm going to create a record. I'm still mapping information as well. This is the same thing. I'm still mapping this information. Right, here's the same information. And now what do I want to do? I want to take the business name. I want to take the state. I want to take, did I pass the rating? The rating. I want to take the company website and the company phone. Right, so I'm going to run this automation again. Come back to leads. I'm just going to send test data. So automation was successful. I'm going to come back here into AI table. And now, once again, fan builds, rating, the state, the website, the phone. Right, now let's do an actual test for another one. Let's just take this one here. We're going to send this data. We saw it pop up. I don't know why none of the information came in. That was terrible. Let's do another one. Same thing happened. So I have to troubleshoot. I have to do some more testing. Apparently, for some reason, that did not map or send for some reason. It could be because this is actually like a demo that's going on here. This isn't real data. Still to send. But regardless of that small technical difficulty that just arose, this is all done with a webhook. Right now, once again, even though I'm using a platform that I created, I'm still using an automation platform, which there are many automation platforms to use. I prefer Make. I think Make is a really good platform. But once again, you could be using Typeform, you could be using ClickFunnels, you could be using whatever the case may be. And most likely, if you look in the documents, they're going to have something called a webhook. And when somebody fills out a form or makes a purchase or does whatever it is, you can send information to that webhook to send information to another platform, which is an automation itself. But for instance, if I wanted an AI table for it to do something else, it could do that as well. If I wanted, to send this to Gmail and do whatever else and put this information there, I would be able to do that. That all came from a webhook. So hopefully this was a good example. I know this video is about 20 minutes if you stayed that long. Thank you. I will be showcasing other examples, but hope you have a wonderful day, and let's keep automating.